Some rulers wear crowns, others wear influence. But the most dangerous rulers, they wear neither. This is the story of Jezebel, a queen without a throne, a voice without an army, a woman whose power came from the shadows. She was the queen behind the king, and the storm behind a nation's fall. When Ahab, the king of Israel, married Jezebel, it wasn't a marriage for love. It was a strategic alliance, a union with the powerful kingdom of Sidon. But Ahab had no idea that he wasn't just marrying a queen. He was marrying a force of nature. Jezebel was raised in palaces filled with idols, trained in the worship of Baal. She was schooled in diplomacy, skilled in manipulation, and completely blind to the God of Israel. She didn't enter Israel as a bride. She entered as a conqueror. Ahab may have been king by title, but Jezebel was queen by influence. She whispered in his ear, shaping his every decision and steering his emotions. While Ahab wanted peace, Jezebel craved power. When Ahab hesitated, Jezebel commanded. When Ahab feared the prophets, Jezebel hunted them. She launched a silent, brutal war, systematically executing the prophets of the Lord. She built grand temples to Baal and Asherah, flooding Israel with idolatry and immorality. The entire nation began to shift. Hearts drifted from God, and a deep darkness settled over Israel. This wasn't achieved with a sword, but by the influence of a single woman. Then, a man named Elijah appeared. He was a lone prophet with a voice that could shake mountains. He stood on Mount Carmel and issued a challenge to 450 prophets of Baal. "Let the God who answers by fire," he declared, "be the true God." The prophets of Baal screamed, cut themselves, and danced wildly for hours. But no fire came. Then Elijah prayed a single, simple prayer, and fire fell from heaven, consuming the offering. Baal was exposed as a fraud. God was revealed as all-powerful. The people fell to their knees in worship, and Jezebel was enraged. She swore with pure venom, "By this time tomorrow, Elijah will be dead." Just her whisper, her threat, was enough to send God's prophet running for his life into the wilderness. Her influence was stronger than any army's swords. Her corruption didn't stop there. One day, King Ahab wanted a vineyard that belonged to a man named Naboth. Naboth refused to sell it. It was his family's inheritance, a sacred trust. Ahab went back to the palace and sulked like a child. Jezebel watched him with cold disdain. "Is this how a king behaves?" she asked him. "Is this how you rule Israel?" And with a chilling smile, she took matters into her own hands. She forged letters in the king's name, arranged for false witnesses to accuse Naboth of blasphemy, and had him publicly stoned to death. When the deed was done, she went to Ahab and said, "Go, take the vineyard." A man died simply because a queen wanted a garden for her husband. Manipulation had escalated to murder. Control had become utter corruption. Jezebel's fingerprints were all over the nation's sin, but God sees everything. Elijah returned, this time with a terrifying message directly from God. He told Ahab, "In the very place where dogs licked Naboth's blood, dogs will lick your blood." Then he turned his attention to the queen, and as for Jezebel, dogs will devour her by the wall of Jezreel. The queen may have laughed it off, but for the first time, something in her eyes trembled. Jezebel had finally heard a voice she could not control, a prophecy she could not manipulate. Years passed. Ahab died in battle, just as predicted. But Jezebel remained, still painting her face, still proud, still commanding respect and fear from her perch in the palace. But her time was running out. A new king, Jehu, was riding toward the city, a man anointed by God to confront her wicked legacy and cleanse the land. Jezebel heard he was coming. She went to her window, carefully painted her eyes, and lifted her chin in defiance. She would try one last act of control, one final manipulation. As Jehu rode into the courtyard, she mocked him, shouting, "Do you come in peace, Zimri, you murderer of your master?" But Jehu wasn't intimidated. He looked up at the window and shouted, "Who is on my side?" "Who?" Two eunuchs, her own servants, looked down at him, then at her. Then they pushed her. She fell from the high window. Her blood splattered on the stones below. Jehu's horses trampled her body. And later, when they went to bury her, they found that dogs had consumed her flesh exactly as God had spoken through his prophet. The queen of manipulation met an end she could not manipulate. Jezebel's story teaches us a terrifying, timeless truth. Not all kingdoms fall from outside attacks. Some crumble from the influence within. Not every enemy carries a sword. Some carry charm, persuasion, and agendas wrapped in beauty and intelligence. Power, when it is not submitted to God, will always become corruption. Her life is a stark warning. Be so careful about who you allow to influence your decisions. Be careful what voices you give access to your heart and your mind, because as we saw, even a king can fall when the wrong person sits behind the throne. Jezebel ruled without a crown, but she fell without honor. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the lessons of the past.